if you're going to be a leader in any way, military, business, your house, you're a leader, you're a father, you're a husband, it doesn't matter who you are or where you're leading. This number one thing is super imperative. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I don't know how, if this is your first video. If your first video, hi, I'm Nick Koumalatsos. Welcome to the channel. If you've been here for a while, you've known that my time in special operations and in the military, I served from 2000 to 2012. And I did a video a while back on why leadership sucks in the military. Is that the name of the video? Yeah, why leadership sucks in the military. And you know, that was a very controversial video. I would say majority of the people agreed with me. But nonetheless, I am going to take away the top 5 leadership lessons that I learned in the military. And not necessarily because I did them personally, but because the ones who were really crushing it, the ones that I still look back at this day and go, that was a true leader. And I don't think it's indicative of the military in general, although there were some leaders that did have these traits. And you could always tell because the guys that were good leaders, they were always like, well, I want to be on that team. That's the team that I want to be on. I want to work for that guy. And I remember directly talking to individuals going, one day I want to be on your team, because they were such great leaders. So anyways, out the gate, lesson 1, if you're going to be a leader in any way, military, business, your house, you're a leader, you're a father, you're a husband, it doesn't matter who you are or where you're leading. This number one thing is super imperative, is lead by example. You lose a lot of credibility when one thing comes out of your mouth, but then the way you act. And husbands, you can say all the things that you want to say, right? But if your actions don't back up your words, your wife's like, you're full of shit. They're not taking you seriously. And that causes a whole lot of resentment, and it negatively impacts you in a bunch of different ways. So if you really want people to follow you, lead by example. Be the guy that you say that you are. Be consistent in what you say and what you do. Mean what you say what you mean. Okay? I can't really say that, but maintaining a positive attitude, showing up with the right frame of mind, not being scared to get to coach and to show them. But that's it. Lead by example. Whatever you're explaining them to do. If I tell you guys to do cold plunges, I go get my ass in there. And trust me, I don't like doing it. I fucking hate the cold, but I do it. I train regardless. It's not always convenient. Last night we had training for 9 hours with our team, and then I still need to get a training session in. So me and the wife went to the garage and we got a training session in. It wasn't ideal, but we got it done. The next one, number 2, is effective communication. A lot of people just communicate. A lot of people just try to pass word. So this is where I feel like a lot of leaders in the military kind of went south, is because they're just briefing what they briefed. There's a big difference in communication and effective communication. This is where really good leaders started to thrive, because they become more clear and concise and direct in communication. But not only that, they're also communicating in a way that the person needs to understand it, because not everybody receives information the same way. When you start to understand different personalities, when you start to understand how people learn, and you can adapt your communication to their learning style, well, now you're hitting everybody on a completely different level. That's where true effective communication, like the way I communicate with, say, Mario versus the way I communicate with my wife, is probably 2 different ways. That's like they're not the same person, and they receive and understand things. They have different love languages. They have different learning styles. So I have to, as a leader, I need to understand that. And that makes me a more effective communicator. Number 3, accountability. This is, if you want to be a good leader, you have to have the respect of your team to hold them accountable. Because without accountability, it doesn't foster a culture of responsibility and trust. It is absolutely crucial that they are held accountable, but even more so, 1, you hold yourself accountable, and then 2, they are able to hold you accountable for your word, for what you say, and that you're meeting the standard as well. It is crucial that, and this goes back to leading by example, it's crucial that if you set this standard and you're going to hold them accountable to it, that you hold yourself accountable to it. Because otherwise it's like the whole, was it the rules for thee, not for me situation? Yeah. We've seen a lot of that. How does that make you feel? Rules for thee or not for me? Anyways, so be accountable to yourself, hold them accountable, and be open to and let your ego and pride go so that you can be, they can hold you accountable as well. The next one being adaptability or flexibility. No plan survives first contact. You can plan to the T, and you do, and you should, but you need to be able to adjust on the fly. You need to be able to not be fixed to the plan because shit can go sideways. You have to be quick on your feet, and you have to be able to solve a problem with the best intentional outcome in mind. I promise you this. Shit will go sideways. How you deal with that thing going sideways is directly reflected of your future success, because it's not going to just go sideways once. It's going to go sideways all the time, and it's going to continue to go sideways. And you have to be able to adapt and be flexible to the ever-changing environment that you are in, because we are not in a fixed environment. We can't control what politics do. We can't control what the weather does. We can't control what happens to supply chains. We can't control what's happening all the time in the banking industry. You have to be able to adapt, and pivot and move. But when you do, the more that you're able to rapidly change into a changing environment, and you live by that, the better your team will also be able to adapt, because again, you're the leader. The last one, and I've said this a million times, I think it's been in a bunch of videos, but if you want something done right, I'll do it myself. Well, you're just an idiot. And the reality is I'm an idiot. He's an idiot. We're all idiots because we've all said that, right? But the reality is that's not true. Somebody can sit here and articulate this video 10 times better than me. Somebody can be the CEO of my companies and run them 10 times better than me. That's the truth. And one day in the next few years, I will find that person and replace myself so that they can take it to the next level. And I'll go to the owner's box and I'll go do something else. I'll just probably still be sitting here talking to you, actually. The point of that is you can't do it all. And especially as your company grows, as you get more people, you want to empower them. You want to empower them to become leaders in their own right. And if you're constantly holding the ball and holding all the chips and doing all the jobs, you cannot scale, you cannot grow, and you're doing them a disservice to the other human beings. You have to create an environment of collaboration and teamwork. It's not and I've said this before, it's not about the how do I get this done, it's who can get this done better than me. And there's a lot of who's in your world, there's a lot of who's in your network that can facilitate that. And when you adapt that mindset, that's infinitely scalable. One of the recent things that I heard, I was going through a coaching program, and I'm a huge fan of just hard work, right? Just wake up early, get a practice in, get a session in. And I love the whole Kobe Bryant story where, he wakes up early, does a training session, recovers, does another training session, recovers, does another training. He's like, by the time my competition gets up, I've already shot 1,000 free throws and done 2 training sessions. Over a period of decade, 20 years, that just makes me that much better. And that's why he was what he was. And I like that mindset. And one of my guys told me, he goes, the difference is you're not Kobe Bryant. He's like, you Gary Buss. If you don't know who Gary Buss is, he's the owner of the Lakers, or was the owner of the Lakers. And Gary Buss is on a yacht and he has 10 Kobe Bryants working for him. See the difference? Gary Buss is infinitely scalable. Kobe Bryant, as great as he was, he only has 24 hours in a day. He's also a father. It was also a father and a husband, a friend. So yes, he trained a lot, but he had other duties he had to do. Plus he had to sleep, right? So at some point you hit a threshold. You are going to hit a threshold. Be the Gary Buss, not the Kobe Bryant. Get 10 Kobe Bryants working for you. That's how you'll really win. So there's my story. There's 5 things of good leadership that I learned in the military that can apply to your personal and professional life. And guys, if there's another one that I missed, drop it in the comments below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Smash that like button for me. And other than that, see you in the next one. Peace.